Hello, I'm Dan Coatsworth, editor of Shares magazine. I'm here today to talk to you about the main UK stock market indices. You may have heard lots of people talk about the FTSE 100, the FTSE 250 and the FTSE 350. Don't worry if you don't know what they are. This video will tell you everything that you need to know. So these indices are baskets of stocks. The FTSE 100 features the 100 biggest companies by market value on the London Stock Exchange, which have a certain type of stock market listing. So the FTSE 250 is the next 250 biggest companies by market value. And the FTSE 350 is simply the FTSE 100 and the FTSE 250 grouped together. They're very important indices because they act as the benchmarks for the UK stock market. The FTSE 100 is considered to be the best representation of larger companies listed in the UK. So when you hear people talking about the UK stock market in general terms, particularly if it's on the BBC or some of the other major news channels, you can be sure that they're referring to the FTSE 100. So companies in the FTSE 100 are generally valued at £4 billion or more. Now, these are gigantic companies and most should be household names. Many of them will do business around the world. The FTSE 250 is viewed as the benchmark for medium-sized companies, often referred to as mid-caps. Now, you've probably heard of many of businesses in this index as well, as it contains names which have been around for decades, as well as some more successful newer names. So investors are often attracted to the FTSE 250 index because it contains businesses that are often still growing at a decent pace. Valuations typically range from about £600 million to £4 billion. So many companies in the FTSE 100 index may be growing at a slower pace than FTSE 250 stocks, simply because they're giants of industry and their profits could already be billions of pounds a year. So it's very hard to grow fast when you're already earning the big bucks. But many investors aren't put off from investing in FTSE 100 stocks despite potentially slower earnings growth. They like the idea of backing big businesses and potentially collecting decent dividends. Index provider FTSE Russell, which is owned by the London Stock Exchange, rejigs the FTSE 100 and FTSE 250 indices every 3 months. The idea is to see if any companies have grown in value and could potentially be promoted to a higher index. FTSE Russell's review would also kick out companies which have fallen a lot in value and need to be demoted. So companies are bumped out of the FTSE 100 if they are no longer one of the UK's 110 largest listed groups, or they're promoted from the FTSE 250 into the FTSE 100 if they score within the top 90 when the markets close on a certain date every quarter. So anyone demoted from the FTSE 250 would fall into the FTSE small cap index. And below that level, you'll find the FTSE fledgling index. Now, AIM stocks don't qualify for inclusion in the FTSE 100, 250 small cap or fledgling indices, even if they're big enough. That's because AIM is a separate market and it's got its own indices. So if you want to track the performance of FTSE 100 or the FTSE 250 via an investment product, you can potentially look at tracker funds or exchange traded funds which mirror the ups and downs from these indices. Thanks for watching.